Hey everyone, welcome to this amazing award ceremony. We're gonna do two different awards. The United Graduate College and Seminary, we're doing an honorary doctor for Gregory Dillon. The guy's phenomenal. And I'm working with HDA, the actual Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance, Chaplain organization, and we're awarding two amazing individuals as honorary chaplains for the content and the work that they've done throughout the world. And people, I'm so excited to have Dr. West and Greg Dillon. Greg, wave to the audience, my dear friend. And everybody, Greg has not got a hair out of place. He owns all the space. That's Greg Dillon. Greg, we love you, man. Dr. Mauricio Juarez of HDA, I hand the service over to you right now so we can present the honorary chaplains to these two amazing men. Dr. Mauricio Juarez.
Thank you, Dr. Rivers, for allowing me to be one more time in this world-changing activities. I'm very happy to be here on behalf of Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance. If you allow me for 30 seconds, I have to say a few words in Spanish because most of our people are Spanish speakers and they don't speak English. So we're not going to make it bilingual. I just have to say what's going on.
No, go ahead.
En este momento estamos a punto de nombrar a dos de nuestros capellanes honoríficos en el área de civismo con el embajador Clive Rivers, y tenemos a las dos personas, Greg Dillon y a Ruben West, que van a ser nombrados capellanes en civismo en una unión, en un trabajo que estamos haciendo con IChange Nations, ICN y HDA, Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance. Lo vamos a tener en inglés, más adelante se los vamos a traducir. Well, we're very happy to be here in this very historical event. I believe that the best is about to come. Very honored to meet these world changers, Mr. Greg Dillon and Dr. Ruben West. Greetings on behalf of Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance board members. They're located in Washington and Seattle and the south east side of Mexico and Tabasco, and I'm located physically in Los Angeles, where our headquarters is located about an hour, well, maybe 2 hours away from Dr. Clive Rivers, ambassador, the founder from ICN. Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance is in a mission to change the world. And when we say humanitarian, it's because we respect, we apply, we teach, and we apply, and we respect, once again, human rights. Based on those 30 human rights, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. As a man of faith, I had the opportunity to be part of UN team, which means Unity Ministry team. I had the privilege to be a student at the United States Armed Forces Chaplain School in Fort Mammoth, New Jersey, where I graduated, and I have the honor to serve on the largest military base in the world, Fort Hood, Texas, with over 100,000 troopers plus family members. So it was a tremendous work where we got to learn about 215 different denominations and religions of the world that we have to cover and to attend. And I realized that Article 18 of Human Rights states very clear the freedom of thought and religion. So we have the right to believe in a powerful universal source and to praise and worship in public and private places. So utilizing the Article 18 of Human Rights, and nobody can take away from me because it's mine, because I'm a human, we built this concept of chaplaincy, which basically means the word chapel came from chaplain, and chaplain became from a French word that means cape, basically. We cover people. So our definition of chaplaincy is someone who is fully trained and has principles and values that is willing to support community members during peace and during crisis. But now we added the second part, we're in a mission to educate human rights, the principles of human rights to different communities, and at the same time, we develop society. So we're in a mission to build people, not buildings. That's one of our mottos. We have to build people one at a time. And I'm pretty sure that anybody that Dr. Rivers, Ambassador Clive Rivers, the founder from ICN, recommends to receive this honorary chaplaincy program is because they already are doing the work. So that's the reason when we were off the air that I mentioned that this has been delayed. You're already doing the work, now you're just about to be acknowledged. So I believe that you're already doing the work, and I have a few words that were put together by the board from Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance, and we're going to get started with Greg Dillon, the tremendous man that's been doing.
Dr. Torres,
yes, sir.
Let me share a couple things about Greg Dillon.
Oh, yes, sir.
Greg Dillon is a karate expert, over 50 years.
Here's your badge.
And you see what this man has done. This man has helped taught women's safety, kids safety. So he's taken a craft that he's mastered for 50 years and has given back to the world. And Dr. Juarez, you know, I would never ask you to put a person as the actual head of actually safety, civility chaplain, if it wasn't a person that's qualified. This man, his service for community, his service for like people, and here it is, 50 years of discipline, consistency speaks volumes, and we need men like Greg Dillon to be on the front line, helping bring a major change to this world. Dr. Juarez, over to you to read the document.
Thank you. So Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance, HDA, in conjunction with IChange Nations, ICN, after evaluating the extensive work, love, and dedication that Mr. Greg Dillon have had towards mankind and ministry, have decided to appoint Greg Dillon as Honorary Civility Chaplain in recognition of his exceptional work as a community role model specializing in humanitarian and social development. Greg Dillon has proven to upload servant leadership qualities and strong principles and values. As such, on this 13th day of December of 2020, we, the Board of Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance, declare Greg Dillon as a civility chaplain, henceforth representing the vision and mission of HDA and ICN, and with all benefits and privilege, such and honors. Let me present you your certificate as a Safety Civility Honorary Chaplain, Mr. Greg Dillon, Chaplain, HDA, ICN. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
You will be getting your credentials soon, and we're very happy to have you on board. And I'm pretty sure what you do, sir, with safety, it's a matter that has been forgotten. It's a preventing training that women can receive, and needed. It is needed. So thank you for what you do. We respect your work and your ministry, and welcome to Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance and ICN Chaplaincy Program.
Thank you. And Greg, would you share a couple words with us about what this means to you?
Wow, thank you first, Dr. Juarez. I am humbled by all this. First of all, God is great. Who would have ever thought that a little boy that grew up between a cornfield and a coal mine in southern Indiana would be around such greatness? In the 50 years that I have been in the martial arts, and it's taken me many different roads and got to meet some great people. My instructor, George Dillman, led me to Dr. Reuben West, and that led me to Dr. Clyde Rivers. And our program, Have a Blast with Granddad, who I truly believe will revolutionize how kids think, how we work with kids and youth. And I couldn't do that without my granddaughter, Belle. So I want to thank her, and I want to thank everyone who's helped me along the journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Greg, now, Dr. Juarez, would you take Greg off the screen while he changes?
Sure can do that. Thank you for sharing with us. And we just do this.
Thank you. And now I want to share a bit about Dr. West. Let me tell you, Dr. Juarez, this man is actually one of the greatest communication technicians in the globe.
Oh.
I'm telling you, as far as a trainer in training people how to speak, but he also has a mind of like diplomacy that understands things. So he's created a concept called dialogue, and I'm going to have him share his concept of dialogue. Dr. West, would you share a bit about dialogue and how you see this helping in chaplaincy work? Dr. West.
Absolutely. So dialogue, I believe, is the new communication paradigm. And what I believe is that we communicate from a perspective. And I also believe that depending on what you name something, it already has a concept to the people that are saying it or the people that are participating. So if I said we were going to have a debate, well, we already know what's going to happen, Dr. Juarez. People are going to argue back and forth about who's right and who's wrong. And at the end, we're going to say somebody won and somebody lost. But it really doesn't bring us together to move forward. If we said we were going to have a lecture or a sermon, that means somebody's going to stand up top and they're going to dictate their information to the people in the audience. And it's really a one-way communication. If we said we were going to have question and answer, well, we know somebody's going to be asking questions and somebody's going to be giving their answers. But to me, none of those are the things that are going to be able to move the country and the countries forward, especially after this global pandemic. We need something that total definition means to come together in search of a move ahead strategy, a vision decision. A vision decision is a decision that's based on the future. Guess what? That is what dialogue is. So if we said we were going to have a dialogue session, everybody already knows that we're coming together for the sake of a vision decision. Everybody already knows that we have to recognize each other's past or history. I took concepts from When Histories Collide. And what Dr. Rivers so eloquently laid out in that book was that everybody has their own history. They're entitled to it. And their history is their truth. And so what good would it do for me to try and tell you what 1980 was like when you have your own version of 1980? Your truth is your truth and my truth is my truth. And I can't out-argue our truth. But in dialogue, it's called our autobiographical pseudo-truth. Autobiographical, which means it's my truth and your truth. Pseudo-truth means it's not the truth, it's our truth. And so dialogue is the communication paradigm that brings individuals, organizations, and families together to find strategies to move ahead into the future. And it's really different because it addresses a lot of things that, well, a lot of times we don't address in communication. We have simple things like the sender and the receiver and the message and all those things, and everybody gets that. But what we don't get is things like input fatigue. What's input fatigue? Input fatigue is where people have given their input, they've shared suggestions, they've given ideas, and since nothing has ever happened, they're burnt out. They don't want to do it anymore. So when you say, does anybody have any suggestions? They don't even want to say anything. You know why? Because they've said it over and over again and nobody listened. And so how do you get them back engaged into the conversation? That's what dialogue does. You know why that's important? Because how do we move ahead for a strategy to fix the future or to have a vision decision when we don't even have all the people at the table? We don't even have all the voices at the table. So what dialogue says is that we have to have inclusion to get to the solution. Okay, I'm not going to turn this into a dialogue session. I just want to tell you that I'm excited because now we can go in as chaplains and create a new narrative and train people on how do you bring people together and understand that everybody has their own history and understand that we can get stuck on these historical hooks, as Dr. Clyde Rivers mentioned in his book, When Histories Collide, but that we can't just come together and talk to the audience, right, or their audience, because most of the time, politicians and things like that, they're talking to their audience. And there's a whole nother group that they're not speaking to. And even if you came up with a decision, that's great. That's where we find ourselves in America right now. We're 100% polarized. There's half the country thinks one way, half the country thinks another way. And the problem is, and listen to this if you're listening, the problem is we think an individual is going to fix that. It doesn't matter who they put in the White House. No individual is going to fix that. That's going to be a solution that we have to come up with as a country. We, the people, have to come up with that solution. And if we don't have people that can bring them together and dialogue from their history and their history, but to figure out a vision decision, a move ahead strategy, we're going to keep facing the same things over and over again, regardless of who takes the White House every 4 years. So I put Dialogue together to be one of those solution-based programs that we can use globally to move us in a new direction.
You see, Dr. Juarez, this is why Dialogue needs its own place in chaplaincy, and because yours is so cutting edge, man, revolutionary, you're the only place I believe that we can put a Dialogue philosophy in. Dr. Juarez, over to you, my friend.
More than welcome. Now you're going to make me translate all this session, because information is so good that I cannot just keep it to me. Or
go ahead, sure.
Indeed, yes.
I'm going to have to go back to this, and I will translate for my fellow chaplains. And I believe that this is needed. You know, I like the definition of chaplain that we have. Is someone that provides moral and spiritual support to communities during peace and crisis. In order to do that, you need constant training. You need to be proactive. You need not to respond to emergencies. To what are we going to do now that earthquake happened? You know, we can train, we can prevent, we can design, and we need people like Dr. Ruben West. I'm more than happy to have him on board, and so we can see and learn. You know, one of the best things that a leader can have is to be teachable. The day that we stop being teachable, then we're done. So we're teachable, and I just gave someone a key. You know, they think they know everything, and that's the reason they are what they are. But that's for the future. Let me go ahead and continue with presentation of honorary chaplaincy for Dr. Ruben West. Basically, the same script that we have for you, but we're gonna make sure that everybody gets to know that, see, I was right. They overqualified for this. They're already in the mission. They're already doing the work. But Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance, HDA, in conjunction with IChange Nations, ICN, after evaluating and listening to you, this extensive workload and dedication that Dr. Ruben West has toward mankind and ministry, we have decided to appoint Dr. Ruben West as an honorary civility chaplain in recognition of his exceptional work as community role model specializing in humanitarian and society development. Dr. Ruben have proven to uphold servant leadership qualities and strong principles and values. As such, on this 13th day of December of year 2020, we, the Board of Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance, in conjunction with ICN, declare Dr. Ruben West, honorary civilian chaplain, henceforth representing the vision of mission of HDA and ICN, and with all benefits and privileges as such honors. Allow me to present your certificate as a chaplain, Dr. Ruben West. And here we go. Welcome, and officially, you are an honorary chaplain for Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance and ICN. Congratulations, sir.
Fantastic.
Dr. West, I share a couple words about what this means to you.
You know, this is absolutely fantastic, and most people listening right now, and neither one of you two gentlemen know this, but my grandfather was a police chaplain. And so I remember when they used to call him because there was some difficult situation or some emergency, and they needed Reverend Bird to go respond to that situation. And I remember thinking, man, how amazing is that? How amazing is it to be called in the time of need to go provide a solution, never thinking, never imagining that I would get the same opportunity. And then you have my father, who is one of the most humanitarian-minded individuals I know, providing shelter, providing resources, providing help to anybody who comes across his path. Basically, if you told him you needed some help, he might fuss about it a little bit, but he's still going to find a way to help you. You know what I'm saying? He's still going to find a way to help you. And then my mom and her legacy in ministry and the way she stood up for what's right, for not only for herself, but the other people around it. her. I just feel like this is a culmination of all of those things. And each one of them took a rope and tied it together that formed a baton, and they passed it to me. And I believe that being appointed as an honorary chaplain for this organization is going to allow me to do this work. And one thing about me, I don't necessarily see it as so much as elevation. I see it as a new responsibility. And I want you all to know that I take it on wholeheartedly, and that I'm committed to doing the work internationally, and that I'm committed to working with the organization so that we can create diplomatic chaplains that are trained and skilled in dialogue. So thank you very much. I'm honored, and I can't wait to carry this forward.
Welcome, Dr. West. We're honored to have you. And it's amazing how all three got combined, you know, the ministry, the humanitarian, and the diplomacy, your dialogue right there. So you have all three in one.
And Dr. Juarez, he'll be coming into Mexico and Latin America with us. He's been to Africa with me, so he can have. So Dr. West, we have some big doors open in Latin America, and Dr. Juarez, I'll make sure Dr. West accompanies us on some of those trips.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now, Doc, bring Greg back, and we're going to do our United Graduate College and Seminary honorary doctorate. And it's great to have both of you two are honorary doctors from us. So it's good to help us inaugurate Greg Dillon into our international family. Greg Dillon, as the Chief Chancellor of United Graduate College and Seminary, our headquarters, our campus is in Africa. Kampala, Uganda is where our campus is. We are our accreditation is from that country, and also the Acumen Worldwide Accrediting Commission is an evangelical accreditation for our education institution. Mm-hmm. And I want to tell you something, Greg Dillon. We've honored 15 presidents of the world with this honorary doctorate. We've honored a man named Kenneth Kaunda. He's the former president of Zambia, and he was the one that fought to free Nelson Mandela. He's a recipient of an honorary degree from our institution. And Greg, one of the things that when you honor the presidents of the world, you can no longer just bring anybody else aboard.
Right.
If you bring anyone else of a lower quality, you just cheapen the institution of the presidency. So again, we've honored 15. We are working all over Africa, all over the world. And I'm going to have Dr. West speak on behalf of you, telling the audience around the world why you qualify for this honorary doctorate.
Fantastic. Well, you know, one of the things that you said earlier, and I saw some more people get on since then, so I'm going to recap this, but Greg is a person of discipline. Greg is also known in my circle as Grandmaster Greg Dillon. He's a martial artist. He has 50 plus years of martial arts. But here's what I got to tell you, because I'm a martial artist, so I'm not speaking from what I think. I'm speaking for what I know. I've had a martial arts school for 23 years now, and here's what I know. Worldwide, about 3 to 5% of martial artists that start ever go to first degree black belt, right? 3 to 5% of individuals that start ever go to first degree black belt. Now, I've made it to 7th degree black belt, and I thought that was amazing. So 3 to 5% ever make it to first degree. I've made it to 7th degree, but Grandmaster Greg Dillon was literally, and I got to be there for his promotion, was promoted to 10th degree black belt. And in most martial arts organizations around the world, that's the highest rank. And I'm only showing you that and telling you that so that you get a clear understanding, a clear distinction of his level of dedication, that you get a clear distinction of his level of commitment, of his level of determination, of stick-to-itiveness. And these are the kind of individuals that we're going to need that's going to help us go change the world. Now, when you talk about martial arts up to a certain level, 4th degree, 5th degree, 6th degree, it's very much focused on physical attributes, your ability to do certain techniques. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at some point, it's about learning philosophies. It's about bringing forth principles, understanding different parts of the bodies and how it works, understanding the mind and how it works to diffuse situations. And this is what Greg is bringing to the table. He has a vast knowledge of these philosophies that supports the upper levels in the martial arts. And he spent his life teaching and training and mentor both youth and adults in not only the physical martial arts, but the philosophies and the mentality to help them be better people. He's done a great deal of community service. He's a volunteer firefighter. He's organized community events to bring people together, which is exactly what we need right now. Here's another thing. Right now, in the room with Greg is his daughter, is his granddaughter. And I'm only saying that because Greg is loved and cherished by his family and his community, which just goes to show you that even in the midst of spending 50 years in the martial arts, he didn't forget what was most important: family and community. And so he recently retired from, I think it was the energy company where he spent so many years there, but he's a loved and cherished individual. And I'm pleased to call him one of my senior leaders in the martial arts because we're in the same martial arts organization. But here's what I love. Greg already knew he was going to be retiring. He already knew he was going to retire. But Greg is not retired. Greg is refired. He wanted to know, what am I going to do next? How am I going to use my life to impact other people on a grander scale in this next stage of my life? And so while many people would be looking to go sit down somewhere, take a break, put their feet up, watch the TV, not Greg Dillon. Greg Dillon and I was supposed to be doing an event in Kenya, Africa in July, but for COVID, we would have been there. So you can see that Greg Dillon is one of these individuals that's never going to stop growing, never going to stop learning, never going to stop using his impact to make other people's lives better. And so if there was ever anyone that I felt deserved to be recognized for years of service, deserved to be recognized for philosophies and programs that he's put together to help women and children, and then not only that, his continued growth and determination to now go out on a civility level and promote safety, I think it's none other than Greg Dillon. So if you're listening right now, do me a favor, just so we can see it, just type in the feed, congratulations, congratulations, Doctor. You can put an asterisk by it, Dr. Greg Dillon, and Chaplain too. And then one other thing I got to tell you, Greg, we didn't tell you about it, but it's no secret. And we don't try and keep it a secret. We just haven't gotten a chance to tell you. Once you get your chaplaincy and once you get your doctorate, you do see the hairstyle, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that.
You gotta come down.
This is a gift from God. This is a gift from God.
I'm just kidding. He was like, wait a minute, before I accept this, let me. I'm just kidding, Greg. No, congratulations. Look, he turned red right there. He's like, I tell you what. Wow. No, back over to you, Dr. Rivers.
Yeah, and when you have a university or seminary, that our motto is we want the people that have done the work. We believe in a philosophy of an searcher versus just a researcher. A searcher is someone that finds knowledge first, and then the other people research and make their knowledge valid. Well, in our institution, we believe the actual searcher is valid as well. This is why Greg has earned this with his life. With his life, he's created a skill and a philosophy. And the reason why I'm willing, and the institution, the actual board approved him 100%. They said this guy's track record, what he's done, his skills and his philosophies have helped humanity. So, and as I stated earlier, when you've honored the presidents of the world, the former president of Ethiopia, the president of Zambia, president of Uganda, when you honored the first lady of El Salvador, when you honored Joyce Banda, the first woman president of Malawi, with honorary doctors and actually leadership from our institutions, the people you bring in next have to toe that line. Greg Dillon, you toe the line. You are You are excellent at what you do. You're one of the most generous, kind people you'll ever meet. And our United Graduate College and Seminary International, we are proud to establish you as Dr. Greg Dillon this day. Greg, could you put the doctorate hat on? Mauricio, can you show the degree on the screen?
Hat on.
United Graduate College and Seminary International confers upon Greg K. Dillon the Honorary Doctorate of Philosophy in Humanities. Greg, my eyes aren't that good to read the fine print, but I can tell you what it says is you're excellent and you have qualified and you are officially this day forward, you are Dr. Greg Dillon with an Honorary Doctorate of Philosophy in Humanities. World, I turn you over to Dr. Greg Dillon. Greg, would you speak to us about your feelings right now?
Wow. How do you follow Dr. Ruben West? How do you follow that? First of all, thank the Lord, thank Jesus for putting me in the positions he did. I grew up in a small farm town where our legacy was growing a good crop. When you get the higher ranks of the martial arts, they want to know, what is your legacy? What's your martial arts legacy? And I considered it teaching women and children to be safe. You know, you can only be a ring fighter. You can only be full contact fighter for so long. But when you have grandchildren, children like I have, you want to teach them to be safe. Growing up on a farm, your livelihood becomes growing a good harvest. Well, I like teaching kids to be safe with growing a good harvest, because you have to plant a good seed. Frederick Douglass said it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Get that?
Oh my God.
Easier to build strong children than it is to repair broken men. So if we can get children from the ground up and teach them civility, teach them to be good to their self, teach them to be good to their environment, teach them to be good to one another. It's the golden rule when I grew up in the 60s. And you know, to have a good harvest, you have to plant a good seed. You have to water keep the weeds out. You have to pray for rain, and you'll get a good harvest. And that's where we have to grow a good harvest. We have to teach children. We have to teach women to be safe, to be civil. It all comes to civility. Everything we do starts with civility. Being nice to yourself, being nice to one another. And I am honored for this award, and I will not let you down.
Thank you. Greg, I want to see Belle. I need to see Belle. I heard so much about Belle. Bring Belle onto the screen, please. I need to see Belle. Yes.
Hi.
Hey.
This is my right-hand girl.
Man,
We're having a blast with Granddad.
Thank you, Belle. Honored to meet you.
You too.
Thank you, Belle.
Belle is 11 years old, and she loves the Lord with all of her heart.
There you
Greg,
go.
is your daughter there?
She's right here.
Bring her in.
Hello.
It is so nice to meet you. I've heard amazing things about you, and just thank you so much for being who you are.
Well, thank you. It's nice to meet you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Dr. Greg Dillon.
Whatever you think you can't go on.
Dr. Mauricio Juarez and Dr. West, you are also honorary doctors from our institution. Do you accept Greg Dillon to be a doctor for our institute?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
We need him.
Greg Dillon,
The award
it's
needs him.
official. You are now Dr. Greg Dillon by the powers of the Chief Chancellor of United Graduate College and Seminary International. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Greg Dillon. That pays the doctorate. There you go, my friend, right there.
I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Dr. West.
I am Dr. Greg Dillon, but the kids still call me Granddad.
Yeah, you know,
I'm Dr. Greg Dillon, but the kids still call me Granddad.
That's right. I just want to say, Greg, you know, when you reached out to me and you said that you wanted to move on to this journey and we started working together, you know, we all have a responsibility. And so with Dr. Juarez and Dr. Rivers, I always understand the responsibility, because you already know that anybody that you recommend that they go off the rails, that comes back on you.
Yeah,
they ended up doing the wrong thing, that comes back on you. And so, Greg, I just want you to understand that was the level of responsibility I felt when I recommended you to work with Dr. Rivers for an initiative. And I never blinked once. I never questioned it once, just from the years I've known you, just from the things that people say about you, just from the fact that you do your have a glass with granddad, just for the way you wanted to carry on Skylar's legacy and the things that you wanted to do. I just knew you were the right person. So without hesitancy, when you told me what you wanted to do, I moved you on with Dr. Rivers. And to just put that into perspective, I work with a lot of individuals, and not many make that leap. I'm just going to be right up front and honest. There's just not a lot of them that made that leap. And so to you two gentlemen, I know the responsibility and I understand it. And Greg, it's my understanding of that responsibility that made me feel very comfortable with recommending you. And so to you, to your family, to your grandchildren, and to the people of your community, and the people that you train in the martial arts, I just think that this is a natural evolution and a natural next for you. I can see you and I operating around the world, and I'm looking forward to doing that together.
Thank you, Dr. West.
And I can't wait.
Dr. Juarez, anything you want to add?
Well, pretty much everything has been said, I believe. I'm just amazed of level and quality of people that is God putting together to continue the work that still needs to get done. I don't know when or how many months or years I have to wait in order to have such a powerful team on my screen like right now. And if you're willing, Dr. Rivers, like I mentioned at the beginning, we have 26 Spanish countries, 456 million people who speak Spanish, not counting the US. So we have a huge work to do in those countries, including America and any other country. But is there a way you can express from the bottom of your heart? I don't want to put you in the spot, but what is your concept of this Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance chaplaincy? But I will translate so those who are watching or listening can understand what you're saying. And then I will invite Dr. River West for 2 minutes and Dr. Chaplain Greg as well. So people get to know, because the good thing about working together with ICN is that only took me 2 months to be in 120 countries. I mean, I'm part of ICN, whatever my leader is, I am. So Humanitarian Diplomatic Alliance chaplaincy now is in 120 countries, just like that in 2 months. You know, because that's a harvest of 7 years of work together and faithfulness and all that. But what would you tell our Hispanic communities, Dr. Rivers?
I would say,
I want to try to remember.
Okay, HDA, in my opinion, will be the words that help frame a new philosophy for the world.
Aquellos que van a estar diseñando la nueva filosofía para el mundo.
We will establish how to do things the right way.
Y vamos a establecer la manera correcta de hacer las cosas.
Because there is a way in the world to do things that's correct, and it builds a better future for all of us.
En el mundo hay una manera correcta de hacer las cosas, la cual construye un mejor futuro para nosotros.
And HDA as an organization is actually pliable enough to allow new things to come in.
Y HDA es una organización la cual se está dedicando a implementar una forma nueva de hacer las cosas.
So I see us establishing a whole nother paradigm of chaplaincy and open the world to a new language, a new way of action.
Así que estamos viendo que nosotros vamos a abrir la manera de un nuevo paradigma de enseñanza de la capellanía para abrir una nueva puerta al mundo al mismo tiempo.
And that's because of a great leader like you, Dr. Mauricio Juarez.
Y eso es debido a, gracias a su líder, Mauricio Juárez, que está allí.
Dr. West, would you share for your couple of minutes?
Yeah, what I'm truly excited about is the opportunity to come in and learn.
Lo que realmente me motiva a mí es la oportunidad de poder venir y aprender.
One of the things I believe is that we can always learn from each other.
Una de las cosas que he aprendido es que siempre podemos aprender los unos de los otros.
And it's been my experience that for me, what I have to give has always been a one-way exchange.
Y mi experiencia ha sido que siempre lo que siempre tengo que dar ha sido un intercambio de una sola vía.
But through this alliance, it will give me the opportunity to learn from other individuals to improve what I know, what I think, and what I can do.
Pero a través de esta alianza diplomática humanitaria será una oportunidad para que yo también pueda aprender lo que otros individuos tienen para compartir.
And I can't wait to team up with individuals that we together can improve the philosophies, the trainings, and the disciplines that we're already bringing to the world.
Y estoy muy emocionado y ansioso de hacer equipo con aquellas personas que se quieran unir para que podamos enseñar, diseñar y capacitar en otras partes del mundo.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Over to you, Dr. Greg Dillon, Chaplain.
Well, first of all, I want to plant that good seed around the world to create
Thank you.
Great things in youth. I want to be the person that helps youth.
Decirles que quiero ser esa persona que va a agregar esa semilla en personas importantes como la juventud. Go ahead, Greg.
Our youth are our global influencers. I know 2 young people right now, Robinson West and Belle Warnsman, who are being groomed to be the future leaders of tomorrow.
La verdad es que la juventud son los influencers de hoy día y tengo a mis 2 familiares aquí cerca y a mí me consta que ellos son los que tienen el futuro en sus manos.
So if we can teach them civility, show them the better way, then we can make the world a better place. Because as Bishop T.D. Jakes once said, greatness is contagious. You'll catch it if you get around it.
Así que le quiero decir que nosotros tenemos el futuro de estos muchachos y les enseñamos las cosas importantes, cual dijo el obispo T.D. Jakes en una ocasión, que la grandeza está a su alrededor si usted puede tomarla.
I want to thank Dr. West and Dr. Rivers for everything they've ever done for me and anybody that's ever had anything to do with where I'm sitting right now. Thank you.
Y agradezco al Dr. Rivers, al Dr. West y a cualquier persona que tenga algún tipo de conexión con ellos por lo que ha pasado con mi vida. Dr. Rivers.
Man, Dr. Mauricio Juarez, thank you for your excellence. You're in a class by yourself in this kind of work, and thank you for allowing IChange Nations and partnering with us to bring these 2 great men. Now the work begins. Within the next 2 weeks, we're going to talk to each of these men about how to move their initiatives into the world. Thank you all. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.
Thanks for everyone. Thank you for everyone that attended.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.